Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, this is the After Hours Gaming League. I am InsigmaTheory. I'll be casting the game for you today of Epic versus Google. It's a pretty exciting game so far that I've seen from these players. They're just absolutely awesome. They know what they're doing really well, and the games that I've seen from them have just been absolutely phenomenal. So without any further ado, let's get into the game. In the bottom left corner, we are going to have Epic. Going to be played on the bottom left side on the blue team. I'm Sakid, going to be that Jungle Olaf. Edric Chaos, support Nunu, the Anomaly being played with that AD carry Caitlyn. Black Mamba 1221 is going to be that top lane Warwick. And then last but not least, one-man army, the team captain, is going to be the mid lane AP Xerath. On the other side for Google, we have Frozen Fire. Going to be on that top lane Shen. Urias is that support Lulu. Tomato Orange is the AD carry Ezreal. KT Flash as the jungle Lee Sin. And then last but not least, Calvincible, going to be that mid lane AP Orianna. Looks like Epic is setting up for a invade. Just going to ward down into that bush. Now, they were spotted, so they have to be a little bit more careful about this one. And they're just going to head back into their own jungle at this point. No one's splitting up yet. I'm wondering if maybe we'll see a lane swap coming out of this one. That would be a very interesting thing to do. But there's a couple of wards set down across the map here on the purple side for Google. They've got, they're blue warded. They've got the red warded, or at least the race. So they should be aware that no one is invading and no one, or at least on their side. So I'm expecting that they're wondering, what specifically is going on here. At least from the blue side, they've got a little bit of vision set up. And they're coming in for an invade. Frozen Fire steps onto a trap. The Anomaly one-man army backing out of this one. Kid's just going to finish off the wolves. Gets the big wolf. Comes back out of that one. He's going to stay alive. No one's going to go down from that invade just yet. Now, meanwhile, actually, yeah, so they are doing a lane swap, it looks like. Or at least Black Mamba's going down bottom lane. Shen is going back at this point. He's going to be a little bit farther behind. It looks like Warwick might actually hit level 2 before him. That'll be interesting to see how that one goes. But he's going to teleport down there, get to the bottom lane, and both of them have actually completely switched up. Send that 2v1, or the 2v2 top lane, running that AD carry and support up there. Meanwhile, Nunu's going to check out the blue buff and clear that one out. Caitlyn's going to take a little bit of harass from Urias. Meanwhile, Lee Sin had his red buff actually getting kind of low. He's going to be a little bit too low to gank anyone really quickly. So he's going to have to go back, play that one pretty safe. Caitlyn actually returning some of the harass here. Glitter Lance comes out a little bit. Nunu lands a snowball into Tomato Orange. Urias gets that polymorph onto him. He's got to be really low right now. Edric Chaos actually going down as well. Flash comes out from Ezreal, but he misses the Mystic shot. And nothing's going to come out of that one. So they are still okay up there in that top lane. They're really low, though. So they got to be really careful right now. If he can land another couple of Mystic shots, he's got this one really easy. But Anomaly is still level 1 at this point. Edric Chaos just now hit level 2 with that little bit of a bump from killing the little minion at the blue buff. Trying to harass this one down and make sure he gets those last hits. Meanwhile, Ping goes down bottom lane. Frozen Fire's going to notice that Olaf is there. Meanwhile, Lee Sin once again backing out. A little bit too low to do anything just yet. Urias and Edric trading back and forth, using that Glitter Lance and Snowball. Meanwhile, back at the middle lane, Kid is setting up for a gank onto Orianna. But both of them are staying pretty safe here, just kind of sitting back and farming. Meanwhile, over this top lane, both of them are staying pretty busy. Edric Chaos taking a little bit of harass here. Nice Glitter Lance lands down onto Caitlyn. Anomaly's really low. Tomato Orange picks up the first blood onto Caitlyn. He's just going to back out of that one. Take the small advantage. And get out alive. Alright, meanwhile back at mid lane. Once again, both of them just kind of trading back and forth. Landing a couple of shots here. But mostly staying just pretty even there. 26 CS mid lane to 28. Meanwhile, down at the bottom lane, take a look here. Warwick's at 32, and Shen is at 14 at this point. So that early gank from Olaf kind of setting Shen back a little bit there. Shen actually ended up switching for that top lane. They're going to send Ezreal and Lulu bottom. Go up against that Warwick. Meanwhile, Lee Sin heading for an invade and just setting a ward there, but he might be setting up for a gank onto this mid lane. Looks like he's heading around the back. Orianna's not giving this one away just yet. Now Olaf is heading towards mid. KT Flash coming in from behind. One-man army gets slowed by the Tempest. Flashes out of the command attack there. Still alive at this point. Kid lands another reckless swing. Getting flashed down a little bit low. Now he does land the Sonic Wave, but he's got to be really careful if he engages this one. And it looks like he's just going to head back out of there. That was actually a pretty good gank there by Lee Sin. Even though they didn't get the kill onto that one, they did force the flash out of one-man army. And now that he's almost out of mana at this point, he's got to be really careful in this lane. Meanwhile, down at the bottom lane, Nunu here alone, just kind of holding this one off as long as possible until Caitlyn gets down there. Tomato Orange pushing this one up really hard. Putting the pressure onto this lane. Takes a turret shot and a snowball. And Lulu's heading up toward the dragon. Now looking at the map control here, you know, Google's got a really good control of this entire bottom side of the map. You know, they've got it really deep warded. They've got every vision of it. The only real weak point in that, and it was just cleared up, is that top lane, you know, in that river. They've got pretty good coverage. I mean, meanwhile, you know, taking a look, Epic doesn't really have much. The only two wards they have out on the map, and actually there goes the pink down in the tri-bush, so he's going to be able to clean that one up pretty quickly. But Lulu actually has her own pink. Responds by getting that one out, and they both actually go down, but Lulu still has that that regular ward, that sight ward inside of there. Just kind of trading back and forth once again. Trying to keep up, actually. At this point, I mean, you know, let's see here. 36 CS on Caitlyn to 41 on Ezreal. They're doing a really good job at keeping themselves in this lane. You know, it's all about damage control. It's all about damage mitigation at that point. When you're behind, it's not so much about, you know, trying to get yourself back into it as it is. And it looks like, actually, ult comes out from Ezreal. Urias is really low from that Piltover, but he's going to make it out alive of this one. Edric Chaos coming forward there, doing a little bit of pressure. Lands a snowball onto Ezreal. He's gonna stay safe a little bit. Tomato Orange starting to run out of mana, but the anomaly is really low at this point. Edric Chaos setting up inside of this bush, putting the pressure onto Ezreal. See, he's gotta back off, but he actually lands a Mystic Shot onto Anomaly, so Anomaly is extremely low. Now the ult is down from Ezreal, but he does have his flash and his ignite, and Lulu is on her way back. But it looks like Caitlyn and Nunu are gonna head back out of this one. But when you're behind, a lot of times it's not about trying to get yourself back into the game and making a big play. A lot of times it's all about just losing as slow as possible or trying to just keep up. That way you can, you know, once the middle game or the end game arrives, you're about the same level. You might be a little bit behind, but instead of being, you know, extremely far behind from just trying to get yourself into a good position, you're in a relative area to where it's actually useful. Lee Sin setting up for a gank up here in this top lane. And Warwick's just trying to be safe here. Kind of trading back and forth with Frozen Fire. Using that passive health regeneration. Actually, they commit to a fight here. Shen taunts in. Black Mamba getting pretty low. KT Flash lands a Sonic Wave, but Black Mamba actually ults under his own turret, and Lee Sin gets really low, but he makes it out alive on this one. Black Mamba actually survived that gank. That was a really awesome turnaround there from Warwick. Once again, meanwhile, mid lane, kind of just trading back and forth. As ult comes down, starts to clear out the wave a little bit. Warwick is still actually up here in this top lane, already almost back at full health. Using a lot of that lifesteal. Meanwhile, they're setting up for a dragon. They've got it pink warded, so they know that there's no vision at this point. Orianna is heading down. Try to get something going on. Lands the command attack. One-man army starts the stun onto Orianna, but turns, tries to land onto Urias. Urias goes down really low. Lulu has to ult herself. Here comes Warwick teleporting in. Shen teleporting in on top of Ezreal. Caitlyn lands the ult down onto Lulu. Lulu's extremely low, but she had to get out of this one. Black Mamba has the ignite onto him, using that hunger. Try to get himself out alive onto this one. KT Flash lands the Sonic Wave onto Edric Chaos. Edric Chaos going down, and he's going to try to get himself into a good position. Now Warwick does have the sight from that blood scent, so he was going to be able to see that one, and they're going to back out of that one. But Google actually, Frozen Fire teleports top, and really starts to put the pressure back onto this one. You know, meanwhile, Warwick actually buys the mana immune, so he's starting to get that one pretty, stacked up early on. He's got 80 mana stacked out of the 750, but getting that earlier on is going to allow him to get to that Mora mana that much faster. And when you combine Warwick with the Mora mana and actually one-man army trying to land the stun onto Orianna, but she's going to back out of that one. But when you combine the Mora mana on top of Warwick and use that attached with his ult, attacks 5 times, you know, he can do upwards of a 1,000, 2,000 damage in one ult. It's a really solid, combo there from Warwick. But it's all about getting to that late game point to where he can work that one out. If Google can really put the pressure onto it and start winning here in that middle game or in that late game, it's a really solid. They could really turn that one around. But meanwhile, it's 12 minutes into the game. 14,800 gold for Epic, 14,000 even for Google. 0 kills to 2. No towers down yet. Really, the only real goal difference besides the kills is the dragon at this point, and it's about it. The only other really big difference is this Shen Warwick up here in the top lane. Warwick at 85 to 55 from Shen. Shen's having a lot of trouble with this lane. There's a lot of pressure being put onto him. Meanwhile, once again, they're kind of trading back and forth. Now, Cal Invincible does have his blue buff. And it doesn't look like Xerath has been back to buy yet. He still only has those 2 Doran's rings. He's got actually 1,800 gold at this point. I would imagine he's backing. Yeah, he's going to be back in here pretty soon. Cal Invincible just trying to keep the pressure onto it. Meanwhile, here at the bottom lane, Tomato Orange pushing this one up. Lanes a Mystic Shot onto Nunu, just trying to harass this one down. Nunu's actually getting an amplifying tome. That's something we haven't seen a lot of, especially on a Nunu. Usually a lot of players will get their Philo Stone right after the Sight Stone. Mostly for not only the sustain, but I mean it's a little on the more useful side in general. But what we're seeing out of Nunu is actually he's rushing for that Cage's Lucky Pick. So he's going to be getting, actually, there looks like to be a fight here. Lands the stun, one-man army lands the stun onto Orianna. Warwick comes in from the top, lands the ult onto KT Flash. KT Flash does go down as well. 2 kills out of there from getting from the invade there. That was a really good job there by Epic. But it's something we haven't seen a lot of in Season 3. Usually, he's rushing that Cage's Lucky Pick for the extra damage and the extra, usefulness on his Ice Blast plus his ult. But he's still going to be able to get, the gold per 10 out of it. So it's not a bad idea, especially with what he's using it for. With Nunu, he's got that, he's got the consume, so he can be able to keep himself into the lane. The only real thing he might need would be the, mana regeneration. But he does have the crystalline flask, so that might even that one out. We'll see how that one goes. But yeah, he's just trying to use the harass on the snowball there. Not only lands a Piltover on Tomato Orange. But this lane is trading back and forth. Lee Sin was setting up for a gank mid lane, and he was spotted out onto that one. Mid lane turret's actually getting really low there for Google. Urias here taking a little bit of damage. Edric Chaos pops his ult. Here it turns around, ult from Tomato Orange, and he's going to actually just even this one out. Lands another Mystic Shot onto Anomaly, so the Anomaly's getting really low. They're going to have to back out of that one. They can't fully commit to that just yet. But mid lane Orianna her turret's starting to get really low, and just take a look here at the turret disparity. It's at 221 health, but meanwhile Xerath's turret is pretty much at full right now. Gonna be trading the red buff onto Olaf there actually. It looked like it was setting up for Caitlyn, but I imagine Olaf's gonna want the stick a little bit more. Meanwhile bottom lane getting pushed up pretty hard. Caitlyn just getting back to it. Now that Olaf is going to get spotted out. So this gank isn't quite going to happen just yet. There's a Mystic Shot onto Nunu, but yeah, they're going to see Olaf. They're going to see Olaf coming into that bush, so they're going to know that one's happening. They're going to back out, just let Anomaly push the lane, and farm away at that one. Everyone's kind of heading back onto that bottom lane. Meanwhile, taking a look up at the top once again, 114 CS on Warwick to 80 on Shen. Shen's starting to get himself back into the game. I mean, of course, he's still extremely far behind this Warwick, but he's starting to actually get a little bit of health, get a little bit tankier, and really become useful. He's got that. He's rushing that Giant's Belt, either for a Sunfire Gate or for a Warmogs. It's right now. With the way penetration works for armor and magic, it's really much more effective to really stack that health extremely, especially early on. Like mid game, rushing a Warmogs is extremely good. All right, down there at the bottom lane, they are setting up for a dragon. All of them just kind of getting ready for it. Pink Wars goes down onto it, so they're gonna clear that one out. Now they did spot Lee Sin and Lulu running up towards that one, but looks like they're all going to head back out, not quite commit to it just yet, as Xerath was still mid, and they're just going to put the pressure onto bottom. Meanwhile, up at the top lane, you do have Warwick with teleport and Shen with his ult and the teleport as well, so they could join down there in that dragon in an instant. And down there at the bottom lane, Purple is getting pressured really hard. And back at mid once again, kind of trading back and forth. Orianna did rush her Unholy Grail, so she's got a little bit of magic resist. But at this point, she doesn't quite have the damage that Xerath is putting out, 'cause since he did rush that needlessly large rod. She's got a little bit less ability power at this one, but she does have the extra cooldown reduction and a little bit of more magic resist to sort of help herself get back out of that one. While Lee Sin heading towards bottom for a gank. Ward goes down. KT Flash is going to get spotted on that one, so he's got to be really careful right now. Olaf headed up towards mid. Now, I don't know if Orianna spotted this one. Orianna pops her Shockwave onto one-man army. Lands the Undertow onto Orianna, and she's going to have to just speed herself out of that one. But that mid lane turret is really low. They could just full-on push that one out. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Caitlyn pushing really hard onto this turret as well. Ezreal ult comes in to clear that wave out.
Purple team's turret
Not quite enough. First turret goes down for the game. 18 minutes, 30 seconds into the game. Google's first turret has fallen. Meanwhile, Olaf catching up with Lee Sin in the jungle. Lands the Sonic Wave onto him. He's going to back out of that one. Edric Chaos landing a snowball into Tomato Orange. Piltover hits him as well. Little bit of harass on note, but he's trading back with those Mystic Shot. Now Warwick is heading there for the dragon. He's teleporting in on top of that ward. They're going to see that. Sonic Wave misses. And he's going to turn around, put a little bit of pressure back onto that one. Olaf is just completely heading for that one. Black Mamba ults KT Flash. Xerath pops in with his ult as well. Edric Chaos trying to land that absolute zero onto Urias. Urias gets out just in time. Nunu is actually going to go down at this point. One-man army is stuck inside of this pit, but he's going to flash out through the back. Black Mamba is chasing onto KT Flash. He lands a Hungering Strike, finishing that one off. Meanwhile, one-man army running for his life at this point from Frozen Fire. Shen lands the taunt onto Warwick, but the stun hits him just in time to keep Warwick alive. Meanwhile, Urias actually did make it out alive at that point, and he did have an Oracle, so that works out in his favor a little bit. 3 kills to 3, 19 minutes into the game, and actually this turret's getting a little bit of pressure. Anomaly's getting kind of low here at this point. 27,700 gold, 3 kills to 3 to 22,800, 20 minutes into the game. 2 dragons are putting them ahead at this point, really far. 2 dragons with that creep score lead at this point, and the turret down there at the bottom lane are starting to create a really big gold lead for them. It's definitely, it's definitely something you can come back from. It's not obviously, one of those points where you can turn around and say, well, this team has clearly got it. No, I mean, they've got a chance to get back into this one. It's not really cut and dry. Black Mamba's putting the pressure on the top lane. He's surviving out of this one really well. He's going for that. He's going for that Spirit Visage actually really quickly after Manamune. Meanwhile, mid lane turret goes down, so that one is dead as well. 2 turrets down for the side of Google. None at this point from Epic. Now, it looks like Ez is going to back out of that one. He's not going to put the pressure on. Frozen Fire is getting dived, though, at the top. Black Mamba doing some damage onto Shen, but he's got a lot of shield. He's going to have to back out, turn around into that one as Urias was there. Nunu's taking a couple of shots from the turret as well. He's extremely low. Ezreal ult misses the Nunu, but the Sonic Wave lands onto him. KT Flash going to pick up that kill. Tempest goes down onto Black Mamba. He's going to try to slow him down. Was not quite in the range for that one. Frozen Fire is really low, though. Orianna was heading up as well. One-man army might be able to catch him out, and they're just going to head straight for the mid lane. So that's, we take a look at the map now. 21 minutes, 42 seconds into the game. 3 kills to 4. 31,000 gold to 25 for from Epic to Google. That's all 3 outer turrets for Google are down at this point, and none of the turrets on the on Epic's side have been taken yet. Epic's got some really good map control at this point. I mean, they've got pretty much taking out these outer turrets. It means that they have pretty much free roam inside the jungle of that topside jungle from Google. They really do have the control of the map at this point. The only thing they're really missing from that is the vision. What we're seeing here is that we're seeing Google actually has a lot of the map warded, and they're doing pretty good at keeping the pressure up to make sure that each side is warded. KT Flash actually was trying to back here. He might actually still turn around and back out of this one. Now, Warwick is being spotted as backing, so they are aware of that one. And yeah, Lisa's just going to head back out. Warwick's going to back as well, leaving the 2's top. Shen down there at the bottom lane. The pressure onto it. Calvincible getting set up for a gank. The ult and the stun goes down. Shen coming in as well at the same time. Olaf doing quite a bit of damage. The shockwave lands down, but Olaf does have his Ragnarok on. It's not going to pull him back into this one. Landing the reckless swings. Orianna's getting really low. He chased up onto that one. Lee Sin came in from behind, but it was just not enough. Kid is getting pretty low at this point. Ezreal turns around with the ult. This is Xerath and Olaf. KT Flash getting exhausted at this point, so he's not going to be able to continue on. So it was a really good pickup there from Epic, landing on top of Orianna and just keeping that one down. It's a really, really solid push at this point. And I think at this point they really need to put a little bit more pressure, but we're going to see how that one turns out. Meanwhile, Lee Sin lands the Sonic Wave on Nunu, trying to keep him from backing. Lands forward onto it. KT Flash putting the pressure onto it, but Nunu's just a little bit too tanky to deal with that. He does have that Kindle Gem, so that's a little bit extra health. Kindle Gem mixed with the Sight Stone, as well as, just being naturally tanky from Nunu's stats. He's got a lot to deal with. I mean, of course, Lee Sin did rush for that Warmogs, so he doesn't quite have the damage output just yet, at least not when they're, close to full health. But, you do have a Warmogs on Lee Sin. You've got one on Shen. They're a pretty solid team. Like, it's a really big front line to have to get through. And when Lee Sin pops onto your face and, he's got all that health, you kind of do have to turn around and have everybody focus him when he jumps onto your carry. So You know, these team fights actually could go into their favor. It's 4 kills to 4, 24 minutes into the game, 34,700 to 27,000. So pretty. That's that lead that, you know, Epic had gotten earlier on is just starting to snowball at this point. Putting the pressure onto it. Now they are setting up for another dragon. They know it's about to come back up. He did pass by a ward here. Urias has that oracle as he's starting to clear this one out, so they're losing vision a little bit out of time. Now Olaf is running down, but Shen still has his teleport right now. They are setting up for the dragon pretty quickly. Anomaly actually lands a Piltover, but he's a little bit overextended onto that one. He gets caught out. KT Flash getting the ult from Luna who knocked him up. Edgar Chaos getting extremely low, but turns around. Xerath lands a kill. Caitlyn gets the kill onto Lee Sin. Frozen Fire getting really low as well. Black Mama putting the pressure onto it. The Undertow lands in from Kid. He's going to slow that one down. Anomaly picks up the kill onto Ezreal, and it was just an absolute massacre here for Epic, acing that team out. And just turning around and once again going to take that dragon. Warwick at this point, you know, with that Moramana and the Spirit Visage, he's a really big mess to deal with. You know, he's got a lot of damage coming out from him. He's got a lot of tankiness coming out from him. You do have to have everybody focus it down, but he's got so much sustain, specifically from the Spirit Visage and just that passive and the Hungry Strike. He's got so much health coming back into him that his effective health is just phenomenal at this point. Really the only thing you could do is either exhaust him to try to get his damage down so that he doesn't steal as much health, or you can ignite him, reducing the health at that point. But that's a lot of focus, you know, to be putting down onto, you know, a Warwick when, you know, meanwhile you've got Caitlyn and Xerath, you know, Xerath out of the range. One-man army has been phenomenal with his positioning at this point. And this is why Xerath is one of those champions where we're seeing a lot of potential come out of him, and we're seeing a lot of strategical, you know, use of Xerath. But if you don't have really good positioning all of the time, you're going to get caught out, and especially as a stationary target and as a really immobile target, it's not something you want to get caught with. But he's playing it absolutely just great at this point. Meanwhile, Google putting up the pressure onto mid lane. Lee Sin heading down as well. Warwick's teleport is back up at this point. Now, I mean, it's 27 minutes into the game, but up until this point, you know, the kills have been even. The gold, well, there has been a gold lead, and it's been quite a bit. But at this point, you know, a 10,000 gold lead is really starting to snowball. It's really becoming a heavy thing to deal with. Now, Shen does not have his teleport, but he does have his ult, so they might be able to hold this one off. KT Flash putting the ward down into the Baron pit, so he's trying to get vision of it. Trying to be really careful. He lands the Sonic Wave onto Kid, but they turn around, completely just forego the Baron and go for the fight. Ult lands on top of Calvincible. He's just going to get focused down really quickly. Shen actually ulted in on top of Orianna, but she was cleared out so fast. Shen is not there in time. Meanwhile, he's just split pushing that bottom lane, but Tomato Orange getting focused under his own turret. Urias getting caught as well, trying to just take anybody down that he possibly can, and they're just going to focus down this turret. I mean, Shen did ult onto Orianna there, but she just got focused and melted so quickly that his ult was not able to kick in, and he was not able to get there, so he's just going to try to split push bottom lane, and and once again trying to mitigate that control, mitigate that damage at this point. But I don't know that he has enough to deal with it. He's not built for split pushing right now. He doesn't have he doesn't have the Sunfire Cape. He doesn't have, you know, any real pushing power, and they're just going to turn around. They're going to get that middle inhibitor and back out of that one. So there was a really good play there by Epic, forcing that Baron fight and then just completely turning around onto that one. Really well played. But 13 kills to 5. Google is kind of in some trouble. They do have their inhibitor down, but I just, it's gonna be really tough for them to get back into the game. You know, they've gotta find an opening in Epic's team. They've got to find an opening in their strategy to really kind of push this one down. Meanwhile, Shen is actually getting pretty far with this split push. He did get through one turret, And he might get through this one. He's just going to have to back out of this one, though. Black Mama does have his ult, so he might be able to catch the split up. But no, Caitlyn turned around, started the red buff, so they weren't going to try to focus that one down. KT's Flash giving the blue buff there to Orianna. No, Baron is still up once again, so Epic could force another Baron fight. Shen is backing out. No, he doesn't have his teleport or his ult at this point, so I think that might be what Epic is gonna do here. They're setting up for some wards. They're trying to give some vision out. There's a pink ward in that bush, so they do have an idea of it. And it looks like they're just gonna back out as Warwick's not quite there. Warwick does have his teleport though, so he could split push that one up. But I think they're just trying to play it safe here, as they don't really want to quite get caught out yet. Orianna picked up her death cap this point, so she's got a lot of damage at this point. She's got that Athene's Unholy Grail, she's got that death cap. You know, next item being a Void Staff. She'll be an absolute monster in these fights. She's got a lot of ability power, and she does quite a bit. You know, meanwhile though, Xerath rushed that death cap and then went straight for the Void Staff, so he's got a little bit more magic damage and magic penetration coming out of this one, but he's got a little bit less survivability. Due to Orianna having that Unholy Grail, so he's got to be really careful about his positioning. Looks like they're going to turn around and force the Baron once again. Now everyone is here to fight for it. They do have vision of it. Orianna's not quite coming up yet. Tomato Warren trying to land a Mystic Shot and stop this one out. Frozen Fire coming in from behind. Lee Sin goes in, lands a Sonic Wave, but they do slow down the Baron enough time so that the smite doesn't land. Meanwhile, Orianna lands the ult on top of Epic there. Did a really good job of holding this one off, but the stun and the ult at long range holding this one out. Orianna did get focused down and get taken out really quickly. Meanwhile, Kid coming in from behind lands the Undertow onto Urias. Urias is just going to get focused down, does have the ult for a little bit more survivability. Meanwhile, Olaf actually just completely skips her, trying to land some more of the slows on top of Google. And Google is getting just focused down here. They're even forgoing the minions. They're just tanking these turret shots. I think this is it. I think Epic is going to win against Google. It's 52,000 ahead. You know, everybody's still dead for another 30 seconds. There's just not enough time. And Google is going to go on with a win here in the After Hours Gaming League. Thank you for tuning in. Once again, I am InsigmaTheory. You can always follow me on my YouTube, youtube.com/InsigmaTheory, my Facebook, facebook.com/InsigmaTheory, or my stream. You can also follow me there. I do have a Twitter if you use that social networking. Pretty much just type InsigmaTheory into Google, and I'm pretty sure you're going to find me. So thanks for tuning in. This has been Epic versus Google. Epic's going to go on with a win, and next weekend, I believe, next Sunday, we'll be doing another After Hours Gaming League. So we'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in.